With my 17 years working in the manufacturing sector, I was more focused on the technology side, working with the people that build and operate this kind of equipment in their plants, both commercially helping set up deals and technically, figuring out the best solutions and how to deploy. What was really fascinating to me when I started this company is the financial aspect of all these business decisions in terms of how credit is applied. And how capital is applied. The interesting thing was that 40 to 60% of these assets are actually heavily leveraged. They're buying them on credit to some degree or another. And the financial institutions that are providing these loans and lease programs, they don't have the same kind of visibility to the market that they do when they're giving an individual loan on a vehicle. Automotive loan, it's a much bigger market. The residual values are much clearer. It's easy to tell which are the good risks and which are the bad risks. With manufacturing equipment, it's quite the opposite. It's a low volume market. The residual values are a lot more opaque and hard to interpret. And you really have to set your lease program based on an artificially low residual value because you don't really have any understanding or capacity to know whether that machine is going to be worth anything at the end of the day. Contrast that with a scenario where that hardware as a service through SteamChain is deployed that helps manage that lease. In that scenario, the bank is tracking how that machine is performing. They're tracking along with the OEM and the end user whether or not and when that machine is being serviced. They end up with an entire record of the performance of this piece of equipment over its life cycle. It has a direct impact on the residual value, right? Because anybody would want to purchase a machine that you can validate has performed at certain levels, has been well taken care of.
Yeah.
By impacting the residual value, you're actually making the lease terms more favorable because you have a higher degree of guarantee on the outcome of that at the end of its cycle. That's value proposition number one for the financial institutions. The second value proposition for the financial institutions is related to risk management. Today, they all write what they call protective covenants into their contracts. They say things like the machine must be serviced on the appropriate OEM schedule and the machine must be run at a certain level. And if it's not, we can call back the paper. We can call back the loan or the lease. Because they understand that manufacturing assets don't fail financially before they fail operationally, right? Yet the only way they know that is after they fail financially, right? And then they use those terms to say, well, that's why we're calling back the paper. What the opportunity that represents itself here with SteamChain, or presents itself with SteamChain here, is to actually see it having problems operationally much earlier and well before they fail financially. You can begin to determine what assets in your portfolio are at risk because they're not being serviced, because they're not being run according to what the expectations were when the business model was put in place. Identify those problems early, get involved earlier, end up with a better outcome for all the parties involved, protect the assets, protect your portfolio, and manage your risk more efficiently. So for a financial institution, whether it's the residual value that allows you to price it better or improve your margins, or it's the ability to monitor it so you can reduce your risk, which also allows you to either price it better or improve your margins, providing loans and lease options based on SteamChain technology is good business because it's going to make the financier more successful, give them more opportunities to sell, and drive higher profit margins for those financiers.